Okay, I guess we're all set to go, and here we go right now. This episode of Penn Point is going to be brought to you by Netflix. So, I'm on the web and I'm talking to friends, and one of my friends is Emery, who I've talked about before, and he put out an Apple app, iPhone app, that I'm going to talk about later, called Islam, or spelled Islam, which is lots of quotes from the Quran that advocate violence and other stuff that we would be against, and also has pictures of Muhammad. And Apple had this up for a while and then took it down, even though there are many, well, I'm going to talk about this another place. So, he's talking about that. And one of our friends brings up this case in Florida with the pipe bomb at the mosque, and says maybe you haven't heard about this because the violence done against Muslims is greater than the violence done by Muslims, by Christians, atheists, and so on. And his point is that this kind of hate speech, the kind of hate actions, you know, the bombing of a building against the Muslims, is being fed by people who are not religious and who talk about the violence of done in the name of Islam. And his point, this friend of mine's, which I might very well be distorting, but the point I'm thinking about, the not Penn point, is that why isn't there the national attention on this mosque being damaged, vandalized, no people hurt? The same kind of attention there is as the car bomb in Times Square that we think was possibly set by a Muslim. Why aren't those being given equal weights? And of course, one of the reasons they're not given equal weights is, I think, just simply population. Times Square is more of a population center, and also since the Twin Towers were in New York City, that gives it a little more weight as well. All those things are true, and neither one had anybody hurt. The problem with it, to me, is the fact that the mosque is dealt with special, that people are not showing respect for the mosque. And it's exactly like my friend who wears a Masonic ring. He wears a ring of Masons. Ring of Masons. No, he has a ring, a Masonic ring that he wears, and he's not a Mason. And people say to him, you can't wear that ring because only Masons are allowed to wear the Masonic ring. And he responds, yes, I know that, but I can wear the ring because I'm not a Mason. And because I'm not a Mason, I don't follow those rules, and therefore I don't have to not wear the Masonic ring. So because I'm not a Mason, I can wear the Mason ring without being a Mason, because the Mason ring rule is only for those who are Masons, and I'm not, so I'm wearing the Mason ring even though I'm not a Mason. It's exactly what I feel about the mosque. The mosque is not a religious building to me. It does not deserve any respect whatsoever. It would deserve respect if I were a Muslim. I'm not a Muslim. So it's a building. And as a building, we want to protect against vandalism. It's incredibly important to keep law, keep civility. So whoever this guy is who burned this property and set the pipe bomb and set the gasoline, he should be caught and given a trial for attacking this mosque, but only for the mosque as a building, because that's what it is. If you're not a Muslim, it's a building. And in the United States of America, we protect private property. I won't get into the fact that religious organizations don't pay taxes, so the definition of private property becomes a little different. I'm not going to go that whole crazy way. But I am going to go this crazy way, which is to say, and he said, well, would you shrug it off if it were your home? If it were my home, it should be dealt with exactly the same. If you tried to burn my house and you tried to set off a pipe bomb, it would not be a hate crime. It would just be You're fucking with someone's house, don't do that. This guy in Florida is fucking with someone's building, don't do that, we bring him to justice. But there doesn't need to be any special respect for the fact that it's a place of worship. The only reason a place of worship is special is if you are someone who believes in that shit, and I don't. I believe strongly in private property. I will protect churches. I will protect mosques. I am against violence in all situations. I am the most peacenik guy you've ever met, but I don't like adding this hate crime in. Why is it more hateful to try to burn down a mosque than it is to burn down a house with people in it? No matter what damage you do, that's the crime. The hate crime thing shouldn't add anything to it, and people should not be respectful of churches or mosques or anything other than them as private property. There should be no special respect given to places of worship except for those who believe in that particular thing. And I believe very strongly that everyone has a right to their religion. I believe you have a right to be a Muslim. I believe you have a right to speak about that. I believe you have a right to get together. I believe you have a right to have a mosque. I'm all for all of that. But I don't give respect to what you believe just because you believe it. The right to believe it is not the right to respect for crazy shit. So if I say, for instance, 2 and 2 equals 7, I have the legal right to say that. You won't stop me from saying that, but you should take every possible opportunity to say Penn is a fucking crackpot. He's completely fucking wrong. And I'm sure you say that often. It's my right to say what I want, and your right to call me a fucking nut. And that's the way it is for me, and that's the way it is for every religious person, and there's no special categories of respect just because your crazy shit happens to be crazy shit that's been written in a book for a really long time. No matter how long your crazy shit has been written in a book, it is exactly equal to my crazy shit, and that's the basic idea of the United States of America. And this episode of Penn Point has been brought to you by Netflix, who I really, really dig. Netflix delivers movies directly to your home, saving you time, money, and hassle. The last one they delivered to me was My Best Fiend. It's the Klaus Kinski, a movie about Klaus Kinski by Werner Herzog that David Blaine told me I had to watch. It was the best movie ever. Now, normally I don't agree with David Blaine on that much, so I wouldn't take his opinion for anything, but David Blaine's one who told me to watch The Wrestler, which I had an advanced copy of and didn't think about watching at all, and David Blaine was dead right. So I'm going to be watching My Best Fiend, and I'm going to be watching it on Netflix. Because David Blaine did send us a copy of My Best Fiend. He sent it to us as a gift, but tell her the little creep copped it and went with it. So I'm going with Netflix, which is better anyway than owning it, because if you own it, you have to store it somewhere. Better to send it back, let them do the filing, let Netflix be your librarian, right? You have all the DVDs of the world, Netflix keeps them. Hey, listen, Netflix, could I please have a copy of Ghostbusters? Sure. Boom, they send it over. It's like having every video in the world and having a guy to run and get it. As a Netflix Unlimited member, you get DVDs by the mail in about 1 business day. And they mean about 1 business day. I'm not kidding. Stuff comes fast. Plus, you can instantly watch thousands of TV episodes and movies streamed directly to your PC, Mac, or right on your TV via Netflix ready devices like the Xbox 360, PS3, and soon the Nintendo Wii console. And of course, it's fabulous for the iPad. God damn, those are some cute kids. Watch as many movies as you want, which is good advice anyways. Watch as many movies as you want. Even out of the Netflix ad, that's really good advice. Watch as many movies as you want. Shipping is free, or as I like to say, you've already paid for it. And there are never any late fees or due dates. Keep the movie as long as you like. DVDs by mail, plus instantly right to your TV. Get unlimited movies 2 ways for only $8.99 a month. That's ridiculous. You know, I'm going to see George Clinton in P-Funk tonight, okay? And I'm going to spend a lot more than that, and I can have a movie of George Clinton and P-Funk. Did George Clinton and P-Funk ever make a movie? I don't know, but they should. Netflix, why don't you stop producing movies? Maybe you already are. Why don't you make a movie of George Clinton and P-Funk? I did a show with George Clinton and P-Funk in New York City, And it was some computer awards thing, and I hosted it. They had George Clinton, and I went down into the restroom next to George Clinton, and I pissed in the urinal right next to George Clinton. And I didn't look at his dick. Oh, I should. If I was pissing next to Milton Berle, I would look at his dick. Take that to the bank. As a new member and the Penn Point viewer, you can get a free trial membership. Go to www, or as I like to say, 6U, netflix.com/pen, and sign up now. I bet if one thing is right about Ayn Rand, she was a blast to fuck. Don't you think? When I read this story, I realized that there was a phrase that came into my head that I'd never had in my head before. And that phrase